G'day folks, welcome back to the channel. It has been a really busy week this week on the farm because the sun finally decided to come out, which was really lovely and made us very busy because we managed to catch up on a lot of those jobs that we haven't been able to do because we've had weeks of non-stop rain and the paddock has been quite wet. So enjoyed the sunshine while it was here. The rain came back in yesterday and now we've got overcast, showery, sunny conditions. So I'm about to start and do some more Canistel cut-ins, and basically this video will be a compilation of the week that was. I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so before we get into the rest of the video, I'm sure you're all dying to know what the brix level of the Abiu tree was from the last video. And a few of you have had some guesses, and we were actually really surprised and repeated the test twice because we didn't believe the result. But it actually came out at 24. Which is really good. The other thing that we noticed was that the line, when you look through the brix refractometer, the line definitely was not sharp and clear cut. It was very blurry, which would indicate that that tree has got good nutrient levels, such as calcium, etc. And it just goes to show the importance of mulching. So unfortunately our canistels that were in our second humidity crib didn't survive the trauma from whatever it was that knocked them around. So we only have one remaining crib, but
what do you got?
We've got fruit.
Cool bananas. That's not bad, is it?
Pretty good, hey?
Yeah.
So these ones that have got roots can be potted up now.
Yes,
and
yeah.
Probably taken out of the crib. There are still some that I'm pretty sure that they've taken. There's resistance when I...
We found that when we did the big lot, didn't we? Some sort of showed their roots earlier than others. Some were quite quick, some took ages.
Well, and this has taken longer because the last lot that we did in Q plugs.
Oh, yes.
When we had the misting chamber, we used these, and these are the Q plugs.
It's sort of, it's pre-formed, isn't it?
Yeah, pre-formed. I think they're made from peat, cocoa peat.
Yes, yeah.
And they've got the little hole in the top there that you put your cut-in into. Yeah,
but we found the slit was better.
No, I think we found these were better.
Did we?
The slits were not forming a good enough seal.
They were falling over a little bit, weren't they?
They were.
Yeah.
Oh, the splits were splitting.
Yeah, yeah.
And so then you weren't getting a good seal around your cut-in.
Yes.
So I'm pretty sure that these were the ones we preferred.
Yeah.
The holes, not the slits. But anyway, you can get both. And then they just fit in there.
And the roots became obvious a lot earlier because it's, I don't know, what's that, 50 mil diameter or something?
Yeah, so it was a lot easier to lift them out and see.
Without damaging
the roots.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then once you've got roots, then you just literally pot that up again into the next side.
And you're potting up quicker because you're seeing the roots a lot earlier than in those little fiber
pots, yeah. So I think that's what I might do next time, is cut a piece off to fit the humidity cribs and use the Q plugs.
Yeah.
It's good that the ones that didn't get trampled on, they all seem to have taken root.
Yeah.
So that will give us more stock.
And then cut that down and do some more.
Yeah.
It's still warm enough to do some more, I reckon.
Oh yeah. Okay, so I have been down and collected my Canistel cut-ins. I'm going to do 2 batches because I got 2 humidity cribs. I have cut the polystyrene Q-plug trays up to fit inside the cribs, and now I am just going to take off some leaves off the cut-ins, cut them off like I always do, just to reduce the evaporation from them, and then cut them where I want them, dip them in some hormone rooting powder gel, and then simply once I've done that, all I need to do is with these little Q plugs that have got a little hole in the middle, is just pop the cut-in in there, obviously not that big, and into the tray it goes. Easy. So it's basically leaving about 4 or 5 leaves on the top, but I do cut them just to reduce evaporation. Then I want my cut-in to be about that long when it sits inside the tray. So fresh cut. Obviously I've cleaned my pruners and my grafting knife first. I shave off the edges just to expose more of the cambium layer, but I find that I do get more roots that way, but some people don't. Some people will just make one cut. I like to maximize my chances, so I do it this way. And then I simply just pop that into my hormone gel. I'll keep going with a few more until my pot's got a few cut-ins in, and then I'll start to transfer into these Q plugs. Now you might remember the last time I didn't use Q plugs, mainly because I forgot that I still had some left, and so I did potting mix instead, or seed raising cutting mix into little jiffy pots. The only problem with that is that it's more time consuming and messy because you've got to mix your blend and then fill all your pots, and it obviously takes longer to be able to see any roots coming out. These are a lot easier. They're already pre-formed. They've already got the hole inside. So it's as simple as once you've dipped your cut-in into your powder or gel, then you just pop your cut-in inside the Q plug, and it holds it pretty firmly, and then Q plug inside the tray, and it's as simple as that. It allows you to check them a lot easier, so I can lift this out without disturbing the actual cut-in. I wouldn't be able to do that with the soil mixture in the jiffy pots. I would actually end up pulling the cut-in out of the soil if roots hadn't formed, whereas this way I can lift it up because it holds it so well in place, and I can inspect to see have any roots come through yet. So it's much easier and more efficient way of doing it. Okay, so it turns out I can't count because I swear I bought up enough to fill this tray, yet I'm one short. So I don't know, I blame Stumpy. He usually gets the blame for most things around here that go missing. So I'll need to fill that extra cell, but that is all of my cut-ins. It was so quick, so easy. So now it's just a matter of spraying them with water and then popping them under the humidity domes. I'll keep an eye on the temperature and the humidity and open the vents if I need to. But now we're coming towards the end of March, so we're not tending to get as high temperatures as what we were, so they probably will be able to stay in the humidity cribs with the vents closed most of the time. but if the temperature does get too high, we can just open the vents like we did with the last ones. So apologies to Stumpy, he did not run away with one of my cuttings. It had fallen out of the tray and behind the table, and I noticed it when I went to fill up the sprayer. So, sorry Stumps. So one more tray to fill. I'm going to go and get the cuttings for those right now. I just wanted to say with the Q plugs, if you do manage to get hold of some, just make sure that you do keep them wrapped up in plastic so that they maintain their moisture, because if you leave them out, they will dry. And it's better if they're still, they need to be soft and spongy. And if you let them dry out, it's really difficult to get them back again. They just go hard and crusty and no good. So I keep mine wrapped up well in plastic and then inside a box, just to keep them moist.
So there we have calamundine kumquat, done from cuttings, pomelo, and up there we've got lemon and limes. Most of these jackfruits are grafted, but there's, I think, maybe about a dozen that are cuttings. And then this is a star apple. This one's green, and we've got a purple that both were done from cuttings. And way up there, yeah, it's flowering. It has fruited for the last couple of years without any problem. And this was done like the jackfruits from semi-hardwood. Well, everything I think really was done from semi-hardwood. So yeah, cuttings can be done with a multitude of different trees. Down here now to pick one of these durians. That way round. There's nothing worse. There's nothing worse than using the pick and hold, and it doesn't hold. Hey ho! It's covered in green ants, so I'll carry it with the pick and hold. In Malaysia, they will tie the fruits to the tree so that even when they drop from the stalk, they don't land on the ground. The reason being, for expert purposes, China won't have anything that's been on the ground with the risk of contaminants. So when we were over in Malaysia, because they hadn't fallen to the ground prior to opening a durian, they would always throw it to the ground. And their rationale is that I suppose like the bruising releases flavours and such like. So we are a beautiful morning, and Angela spent 2, nearly 3 days, or 3 full days should I say, planting out some rootstock. So my job is to collect up all of this mulch from the durians, spread it around the seedling trees, protect them. The ground won't dry out anywhere near as quickly, and help to suppress weeds close to the seedlings. So full morning doing that. I already followed round after she'd planted and put a handful of dolomite around and handful of chuck manure. Always find that chuck manure is a more gentle fertiliser, especially with young trees. So all that's in place. So go around now, put the mulch down, and maybe give them another watering in. So that should keep me busy for this morning anyway. Got 50 or so trees, I think, to get done. Hey, would you look at that? We have got another durian that's fallen. This is the Ganyao. I'm actually going to be a little bit sad when I do cut this tree out. It was the first durian tree that I field grafted, and by that I mean we planted the rootstock, or we planted several rootstock, had an experimentation with different ways of grafting the tree. I'd seen a video from one of the Asian countries where they were doing it, and when I mentioned it, people all sort of, they laughed, oh, it can't be done here, it's the wrong climate, which didn't make sense. If the tree grows and will fruit, then you would think you can do it. So yeah, that was my first attempt at and successful field grafted durian. Did several others since then. So I put this little beauty up at the house. So already put a wetting agent in so that everything spreads nicely. Now this is just pour on. All good.